Hey everyone, I am back. I've got a pre-hired member who's gone on, got hired, done really, really well. It's actually a 6-month check-in, right, Robert?
Yeah, five
So
and a half, six.
yeah, 5.5, 6 months. And Robert, you're based in, well, you're out of Lakeland, working out of Tampa. And I just wanted to actually catch up with you. So this is a little bit weird for those of you listening. I'm kind of just wanting to catch up with Robert. We haven't touched base in months.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to have a conversation about what's been up. But I wanted you guys as members and even maybe applicants, we might make this video available to you just to see what it's like, kind of like life after pre-hired, and get a feel for what it's like, as you begin the work, and then, the 6-month check-in, because people want to know what's happening on the job and, after I get started, what's that like? So I guess to pick things up, Robert, as a recap, kind of, you went through the program 6 months ago, you got hired to a great company, great pay. You gotta stay where you grew up. You're near your hometown. You're working out of Tampa. And what's been up, man, since let's start there. What's been up since starting work? What's that been like for you? I want to know, man, what's your thoughts?
It's been crazy, but it's been good. Just had child number 4.
Oh,
So
wow. Congrats.
2 months ago. So we've been juggling a lot of things lately. Work's been crazy and good. We've been exploding as far as how quickly we're growing. A lot of exciting things coming down the pipe. It's been awesome, man. Ever since we started, it was definitely a big change in my day to day, but I've been loving it, eating up every second I can.
Now, when you say it was a big change in your day to day, what's changed? So life before pre-hired, when you were working, and then life now, what's that day to day change of work look like to you? That's that big thing that sticks out.
Well, I was in insurance. I was working for myself. So obviously I'm doing a lot of, referrals, friends and family, face-to-face stuff, all the stuff about that you'd imagine with insurance sales, the good and the bad, a lot more slow paced. And now I'm at a B2B SaaS company as an SDR, making 75 dials a day. I mean, going through LinkedIn, sending emails. I mean, it's much more fast paced now, that's why I chose this career. I love how quickly things go and change. We've made 2 acquisitions since I started. So, there's 2 new product things to learn, but yeah.
Wow. So what's, let's explain that. Cause I'm actually curious, cause this is for everyone listening, but also for me. Every sales team is a little bit different in the way that they operate in your workflows for the day. So you said, you have some dials, you're connected on LinkedIn. What's a life in the day at your current SDR role that you're doing? In a fast-paced hybrid that you just said, we're growing fast. We've acquired 2 companies. We're hiring on more people. In fact, did you just hire on a pre-hired member?
Yes, we did.
Right.
He's starting about 2 weeks now.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about that in a second. So I just realized that Elliot, right? Elliot. So I completely forgot Elliot is the one doing. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that in a second. But first, I want to hear about what's it like? You're a fast-growing company, acquired 2 companies. You're hiring people, hiring our members in. What's life like in the day-to-day sales environment for someone who only let's say this? Some people understand insurance, real estate, or maybe they've never had sales background and they're coming in. So just explain to them, what's your day like?
Yeah, well, my day is structured a little bit differently than a lot of the other SDR's day is. It's at least partly why I think I've been very, very successful. A large portion of that is due to the training, of course, that we went through. So my day starts off bright and early. I try to get in here 7:15, 7:30. It helps me get a good grasp of what I'm going to do that day, and I start diving immediately into research. I run any of the warm or cold leads that may have come in overnight or this morning, check my calendar, get a good game plan for what's going on, start doing some serious prospecting. I do that mostly through LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, through our Salesforce instance. We're a Salesforce shop here, and through ex-customers, tracing them down to where they went with Sales Navigator, stuff like that. Then starting around 9 o'clock or so, we really try to get I try to get my calls in earlier. Try to hit the phones pretty hard. Our goal is 75 dials. I don't always hit that because I'm a research junkie, but that's hit the phones hard. Try your best to make an absolutely true cold call. That's at least my theory, is that I want to know who this person is and why they should care about what I do before I pick up the phone. Click call. And then throughout the day, I'll alternate back and forth between monitoring for new leads to follow up on, prospecting. Sometimes you get sucked down the prospecting wormhole for a couple hours, but hopefully you find something beneficial at the end with it. One thing I've been doing lately that's really been working in my favor is sending super, super targeted emails to people who are ideal customer profile. Maybe they used us in the past, or used one of our products we acquired in the past, and personalizing an email to them, their specific situation, and starting a conversation that way. So, I mean, that's basically our job as SDRs, is to start conversations. And that's what the whole entire day is revolved around, whether or not it's interacting on LinkedIn, calling them on the phone, sending an email. Yeah.
So it's interesting. So thanks for sharing that kind of outlook of a day. Is you're connecting with people, you're prospecting, and it sounds like you've got inbound leads too, because it sounds like some inbound leads come in, you're checking them in the morning, checking them in the afternoon or at night too. Like, so you're responding to inbound, answering questions, setting up meetings, helping those people, but you also have outbound, and you start off with calls. And this is an extra important point to mention to anyone listening, is every sales team's different. Some of them start off call heavy. Some of them are email heavy. Some of them are text heavy or social media like LinkedIn heavy. Every company is a little different, but here's the thing that remains true if you're in science-based sales and you have a science-based sales mindset. We don't care how we do it. We care what works and what helps people. So if we find, like, it sounds like Robert stepped into a company that they had a strong call-based formula for getting a hold of people, but he's even like, I'm actually doing things a little bit differently because I'm getting better results. And that's why I'm beating the other people in the sales team, because I'm actually finding if I do more research and target some of my calls, but heck, sometimes I just email first because I can get their attention, and it's actually quicker and more simple to lay out a case for why we should connect. And then we just jump on an actual qualification call where we have a conversation about what they're doing. So everything is a little bit different every company. And I love that he's walked in. He's probably been very humble in the fact that this is what we tell you guys to do. I'm going to listen to my sales manager and listen to what they're doing. But as soon as I understand how they're doing it and I show them I can do it, I'm now going to integrate what I've learned in science-based sales and figure out how to make it better and make me the top performing rep in the team. And I love that it sounds like Robert, that's what you've been doing. And I love how you're like, I'm testing this and that. And that's actually what never stops. That's the fun part about it, is being able to test things and ultimately make connections, get people qualified. And then now, and to clarify for those listening, Robert right now does not actually close these people because it's a team sport. Like in SaaS sales and tech sales, it's a tiered team where you have multiple people moving someone to making them a purchase, because there's a large purchase, involves lots of decision makers, sometimes lots of users, and it's a lot of money to the company. And there's a lot more profit in software than there is in other industries. So it involves more than one person. And so up until this point, Robert essentially, maps out companies, strategically decides who's an ideal buyer for us. He comes up with a message of why should I reach out to them? Why would they care of what I have to say? Connects with them really quick, says, hey, do you think this could help? Let's talk if so. And then once he gets them talking and he understands that we in fact can help, he passes them on to the next person down the road, which is called an account executive. And that's normally a promoted position. And that brings us to the next thing is Robert, you've been there 6 months, and we tell everyone in our program that most people don't get promoted for at least a year to 2 years at a tech company, like if they're just going there. But what we tell our members in the program as they come in is be prepared to be promoted within 3 to 12 months, not 12 to 36 months or 24 months. Like, it's really a lot faster. What's your promotion track look like right now as you're getting in? You're 5.5 months in, you said you're getting into 6 months. What's that look like for you right now for promotion? What's that track look like?
Actually, I just got a promotion. So we're actually, So I'm going through the transition. We call it a boot camp, which is going to be over the next month and a half, where I transition from SDR to AE, going through trainings, product knowledge, start to kind of work my own deals as well as I'm in that transition plan. So so that's super exciting.
So, okay, that's great. Do you have, first of all, congratulations. That's a big deal. And is the role, what's the title? Is it account executive or what are they called? Okay. Go ahead and explain to us listening how are your roles and responsibilities or your workflows going to change from what you've been doing as a sales development rep to this account executive role that you're going to be stepping into?
Great question. And thankfully, they're not going to change as drastically as they will for some SDRs, because one of the things that I've tried to do is be more full cycle minded when it comes to me qualifying and setting up meetings, things of that nature. So I already have a good idea of what's going on. I'm not just setting a meeting and ditching, letting the AE do whatever he wants. But basically, a sales development rep, like we discussed, is very top of funnel. Generate interest, qualify, see if there's potential business fit, and then pass on to the account executive. What the account executive then does is does a deeper discovery, discovers multiple stakeholders in the process, and begins to go through the rest of the sales cycle with them, whether that's a demonstration, multiple discovery calls, alignment meetings, things of that nature, to ultimately, of course, to get them to sign on the dotted line at the very end of it and acquire them as a customer.
Excellent, man. And it's a little bit different for every company. That's why I wanted you to share with me, because I'm actually curious how it is for you. So you've been promoted. That's exciting. The team is growing, and that's where I just put two and two together. What's up with the you're hiring pre-hired members now? So tell me a little bit about that.
We do. I talked my manager into taking a call. It was actually after they extended the offer to Elliot. So basically, our recruiter comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, I noticed that you went to the same program as, this guy who's applying. I want to talk to him for a few minutes." I said, "Sure." He hit me up on LinkedIn. We talked, must have been for like an hour. It's awesome. And but anyway, so he goes through the process, and by the end of it, my manager is like, "Take half a day, take him out golfing, convince him to work here."
Wanted in new sales.
Exactly. I mean, that's the only time I've ever seen something like that, trying so hard to get someone else on. I'm sure it did help that I went through the same program and had very similar traits in how I interviewed and my preparation, and I've been very successful here as well. But yeah, like 2 seconds after he signed the DocuSign accepting the offer, she was screaming, "Yay, Elliot's coming on!" So that's awesome. We're excited to have him coming aboard.
Yeah, and I know, yeah, Elliot. I've gotten to talk to personally. He's awesome. He's going to do incredible. And you know what? That's what I want. See, when I started pre-hired, and I haven't ever shared this on camera before, but when I started pre-hired back in January 2018, I mean, my vision for this was, it's not just, that's why we don't call ourselves, we're not a school. We're not just a higher education learning. We don't even call people students in our program. We don't have graduates. We just have lifetime members to a sales association that has a program, and you go through it and you get certified. And when you're certified, that's us saying you are among the best sales development reps in the country now. Go get jobs in tech because you're going to get paid the most there. And now we're actually formalized. We've formalized it now. We are now the SBSA, the Science-Based Sales Association. You're actually the first person I'm telling this outside of the team. Because it's just, like we're now SBSA, Science-Based Sales Association, and one of the programs we offer is called Pre-Hired, and it's for people that want to get into tech sales. Maybe they've been in sales, maybe they haven't, but they want to get in there. And so my vision for this is it's an association. That's why we have that Slack group where I see you chiming in every now and then. Elliot's like chatting people up and like, "Hey, dude, like check this article I read." And that's what I want, is to create this community of professionals who have both character and competence. Like, I believe that both are important in a professional group. The character part is like, do they have good intentions towards others? Are they givers and not takers? Like, do they really want to help people? That's the character thing. They're good people. But then if you have a good person, but they don't have competence, like, well, are they good at what they do? Are they a professional? Are they actually smart at this job? Well, if you've only got one of them, you don't really have a great community of people. You just have like someone who's half-assing something, right? Like, think about it like this. And I know I wasn't planning on talking about this, but this is something I got to get out now. It's like, for example, we've all met that person at school in the past or at work who was like, wow, that person's really smart, really good at what they do, but man, they're an asshole. I hate talking to them. Like that. We all know people that are like, they're smart, but they are not humble about it at all. Like, they are proud. They got an ego. They like are snobby, but they're smart, right? Like, and that's good that they're good at what they do, but no one wants to work with them. They're not going to go, they're always going to be limited in the ability that they can grow in their profession. Then you've got people who you would grab a beer with. You're like, man, I love this person. Let's play video games. Like, let's go grab a beer. Let's just talk, hang out, go golfing. But then it's like, oh, I'd never hire them to work for my team though, because they suck at what they do. Like, right. So it's kind of like, that's what we're building is people that have both the character and competence. And so I'm just pumped that that's where we're headed. And then this happens, like natural conversations happen in our members only group where we can chat with each other. And I'm going to introduce people on LinkedIn to like, hey, your team's hiring, like interview one of our guys or girls. And then just like natural relationships and networking happens. And then right now, this is the early stages because we're only in our second year, but man, in 5 years, like we have the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and say this before I let you talk again, Robert, is because I'm passionate about what we're doing. Is we're now on the mission to get 10,000 people into tech sales roles by 2024. So we've got a massive vision to help a lot of people and change a lot of lives and come into this industry. So I'm so excited. And it's not just it's not just a one-time thing, like they're getting the job, like they go through the program. They can come back. And like every year, we're going to have annual real life conferences for free. And that's the whole coolest thing about this is from the moment people become members, we charge for that. But from that moment on, we don't charge a dime more because you're a member for life. And so from that point on, you just keep getting benefits and value and relationships and just help and support going forward. And then companies to hire people, they'll sponsor things. And so I'm saying that because, yeah, dude, and I guess this is a perfect time to actually talk about it on camera because it's in Tampa. Our first conference is next year. It's going to be sometime between March and May 2020. And it's going to be held in Tampa area. Maybe, Tampa / St. Pete or Sarasota is going to be somewhere around there. And it's going to be the first annual pre-hired conference. And it's free for all members to attend. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be a lot of like in-depth training stuff. We're going to talk about promotions, how to get promoted to the next level, where it's an AE, but when you get there, it'll be like sales management. What do to prepare for that? Lots of great members are going to be talking. I'll be talking a little bit, but I want to get some of the other members talking, some other people who are not members. They're like executives or directors at other top sales teams across the country speaking. So yeah, all that's coming down the pipeline, man. And so you are basically giving me a perfect example of what this should be in the future.
That's awesome, man. I was super excited whenever Isaiah mentioned that when we were playing golf the other day. He said it's probably going to be in Tampa, so I'll definitely be there.
For all you that are listening, Isaiah is our head of, he's the director of connectors. He connects pre-hired members to companies like where Robert works at and other companies out there. But that's who Isaiah is if you didn't know him. And by the way, Isaiah just, prior to joining pre-hired, he worked for another company in the Tampa area called Outreach before joining the team. Man, this is exciting news. I'm so glad that we were able to catch up. You're hiring some more. By the way, are you hiring for anyone listening right now? Like, is this probably going to go live in our program in like just the next couple of days? Are you still hiring? Is your company still hiring for salespeople?
If you are a top performing SDR coming from pre-hired, there would be a place for you.
All right. Well, there you got it. If you're a top performing SDR, so that means it can't be everyone, right, guys? So everyone listening to this. Some of you, maybe you can make the cut. If not, it's fine. Hey, remember, I want to remind everyone though, because I don't believe in false kindness. I tell people how it is. There are A players, there are B players, and C players. Every football team or sports team has the starters in A string, B string, C string. Here's the point though. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters how fast you can grow. So that's the thing. That's why I love what we do is even my own team internally at Pre-Hired staff who help mentor you guys, they've got their own benchmarks for improving as sales trainers and mentors or advisors, and they make mistakes. They fall behind. And I even tell them, hey, it doesn't matter where you came in to pre-hire. What matters is how quickly you're able to adapt and grow. And that's what I love is, so if you're not ready now for a great team like Robert's right now, it's okay. Make that your goal for 6 months from now or 12 months from now. I'm going to go join a different team. Maybe I'm not paid as much. Maybe it's just, it doesn't have as much leadership in place that could grow me as fast, but it's still a great job. And then once you improve and now you're the smartest person in the room in that team, get in another room, join other people that are smarter than you again. And so you can keep growing. So that's the key. So guys, I'm being real with you right now. You heard it from Robert. You got to be really good at what you do. You got to be one of the top players. And if you're not ready, they'll say it, and you go out, do something else, and prove yourself over the next few months.
Exactly. And back to the A, B, and C players thing. To be honest, my first probably 3 weeks on the job, we were a brand new SDR organization, brought in a lot of people quickly. So, there wasn't, much super personal training or growth right off the bat, because we were just trying to get this up and going. So I just kind of settled in to, the typical sales off cadence they had for us. Make 75 dials to these people we loaded from your territory, send the emails, 2 or 3 of them, these template emails, and I had almost no luck. I was, am I doing something wrong? Then I decided I was going to step back. I was like, you know what? Instead of just doing what all these other guys are doing, let me go back to what I learned and actually care about, doing research and being smart and applying a science to it, and actually caring about what the other people were saying to you, and actually learn about what mattered to them. They don't care. They don't give a damn about your company or what you do or what you. They care about, can you help me? And unless you're going into these calls actually looking to find out, what are you guys doing? What are you struggling with? What are you doing well? Only then will they care if you're a fit. So once I kind of reassessed my approach, brushed back up on the stuff that I already knew because I had taken the course, and just stopped doing the cookie cutter stuff. And I went from struggling to the top rep in a month. And I rang the bell as a top rep. Well, that's bragging. I shouldn't be bragging.
Well, this is real, dude. You can brag to me, man. I'm proud of what you've done, because although I didn't make that happen for you, we did provide the foundation for you. We gave you the tools. We gave you what you needed and said, here's how to go. You made that happen for yourself. So I love to come back and hear that you're succeeding. And so, yeah, that's fine. You can brag to me about this, man. And whoever's listening, they listen. You're awesome what you do. And you know what? You should, guys, if you want, feel free to look up, use your skills that you've learned. If you're a member, use your skills that you've learned to look up Robert, find him. Feel free to connect with him. I know he'll be happy to chat with you, give you some insights into what he's learned and what he sees. And then maybe you'll get hired, maybe not, but you already heard him throw that challenge at the gauntlet.
You can find if you want to, you can find my phone number, give me a cold call.
There we go.
Promise you if I'm impressed, and I'll tell my manager I was impressed.
Hey, there you go. See, use the skills you learned in the program to find his info, and then have a personalized opener and get his attention. Then that's the challenge for you guys for talking with Robert. And for all of you applicants, or maybe not even an applicant, maybe this is somewhere on the website, because maybe it's available for everyone. You can try, but you probably won't get anywhere with Robert, because he'll know right away that you've not been trained in science-based sales. Robert, I want to ask you, before we end, 2 things. There's a 2-part question, actually, as we end.
Yeah.
Is what advice would you give to first members who are going through the program, or they just got certified? And then I'm going to ask you again in a second, what advice would you have to someone who's watching this and they're not in the program yet? Because you've not only been through the program, but you've been certified, you've been on the interviews, you've gotten hired, you got great pay. And then you crushed it. You went from being the new guy who was struggling in the beginning, then you transformed, and now you're the top performer on the team, and now you've just been promoted. So you have the right to give advice to people at this point. Like, at least people that are like not where you are yet, which is pretty much almost everyone watching this video. So go ahead. First is, what advice do you have for people that have just finished the program, they've just gotten certified, and they're getting ready to put out applications and interviews? What advice do you have for those people?
Well, obviously know where you're applying and be smart based on, and pick companies in a smart way, but that's so subjective to everyone's got different goals. As far as the application process goes, do your best to act like an SDR and they're a prospect. They'd love it. A sales guy's not going to be mad if you cold called him looking for a job. He's going to be impressed. My current manager, which is funny, she actually offered me a job at another company, turned it down. I turned it down, took this job, and 2 months later, she was my manager here. So that was funny. And she was like, yeah, she's like, you're the most persistent one that ever had applied here. You were sending me LinkedIn messages, you called me, you sent me an email, and it was like, I couldn't mention the name of anyone else who had applied, but Robert Miller was always right there because I was, I was continually touching base with her, and they love that. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is to do your research on who's the best person to contact and touch base, connect with current SDRs, current AEs. I probably have 4 LinkedIn conversations a day with people looking to apply here, and I'll respond. You can get advice for how to best approach an interview, advice on who to reach out to. But yeah, do your research and don't just click apply and wait for something back.
There you go. So essentially, members, follow the science-based sales process we show you how to do. Don't just click to apply like everyone else is doing. You don't set yourself apart. You're not going to be invited for an interview. And if you are, you probably won't pass it. So do what he said. Do what basically everything he just mentioned is what we talk about in the program. So do that. And because Robert did it, he did it and he got results. And if he ever, it sounds like his company's treating him really well, but he knows if they ever didn't, he's just going to do the same stuff all over again if it works to get any other job he wants, except this time he's coming in at a mid level. All right. The last thing is for those people who are watching.
Can I add one more thing about the advice? Treat the interview like a discovery call. Story. Don't go in talking about yourself, which I know, I'm sure you're going through this in the course, but that's huge. I've got to sit on a couple interviews in the past month or two, and that's the biggest thing they notice. Ask questions about them, about their company. Show that you have done your research, and yes, share what matters to you as well. But conduct it like a discovery call. That's the skills they're looking for is the ability to ask probing questions, second level questions that show you're actually getting what's going on.
That's great, man. That's good. All right. And just in case we do open this video up for people who are not members and they wanted to get a glimpse into what is it like, not just after this program, but 6 months later, what's happening to our members. What would you tell to someone who's on the fence? Maybe they watch this video and some others about going through the program. They've done the research. What advice do you have to them when they're trying to figure out, should I do tech sales? Should I do this with pre-hired?
Yeah, I would say the first thing to do is determine whether or not you actually want to be in tech sales. It's not for everybody. It's fast-paced. It's an intense environment. I mean, it's not for everybody. But once you make the decision, you say, I want to be in tech sales. I want to be an SDR, an AE, or what have you. I mean, you can wing it. You can go on your own and apply and probably get a 3rd-tier SDR job somewhere, cold call selling some random widget for 2 years, and eventually, work yourself up to doing decent. If you want to accelerate your career, I mean, if you want to go from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds or 6 months flat, I'd highly recommend joining it. Joining pre-hired science-based sales. I mean, as much as I would like to say that my success is because I'm just super smart and way better than everyone else naturally, it's not the case at all. It's not an accident that, Elliot was viewed so favorably as well when he came in. It's just what you learn, what you go through the program, and the support you receive, it sets you apart. Night and day from everyone else, and it will get noticed. So join the program.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks for saying that. And I'm going to end on this. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to tag what Robert just said. And it comes down to, it's not just our program. I'll be real for a second. I believe that we're the best in the world at what we do. We're the best at taking people, transforming them into top salespeople in the country, on the planet, and putting them to work in tech companies that are paying the best, has the best culture, just great work-life balance. Getting the great quality jobs, all right? But the foundation of what I believe, so if you don't want to do tech sales because you listen to Robert and you're like, I don't know if I want to do this, or if maybe you want to try this on your own or not with us, here's the thing that I want to give you some advice. Get a mentor, right? Like that's the thing, is people that choose to get mentors in life, they're the ones who normally excel faster than anyone else. They succeed. It takes less time, less failures, and it's more fun if you can have a mentor showing you the ropes along the way. The only problem with that is you almost always have to pay in some form to get a mentor. A lot of times it's money. Sometimes it's mutual interest. For example, if you have I recommend if you go into a sales team and you have a manager, there's one thing for them to be a manager, but you can actually maybe try to request for them to officially be your mentor, where they put even more time and energy into making you a success. But there's normally still, there's some sort of trade-off where, for example, if you're more successful, they make more money because their team makes more money, right? There's always some sort of trade-off. And also the caliber of mentor you get is not going to be the same depending on the industry and the person you're talking to. I mean, for example, you can't go to Jeff Bezos and say, mentor me. I mean, this guy's one of the richest people in the world now. And if you're 10 levels below him, he's not going to give you the time of day. It just doesn't make sense. You could have the best mentor in the world, but if you're not asking the right questions and ready to implement the things that they're going to tell you, you're going to fail. So that's exactly, you know, if I tried to ask Bezos to be my mentor, that'd be insane, because he's the richest guy in the world. I'm not a billionaire. I'm pretty successful, but I'm not at that level. And all the stuff that I would ask him, I probably have some pretty good questions for him. But you know what? I wouldn't be able to implement probably half the stuff I ask about, because I don't have the money or the capital to invest in the opportunities he's thinking about. Like, that's well beyond where I'm at. So find a mentor that's 1 or 2 levels above you that you can actually ask the right questions, and you can implement the things they're giving you. So there's some advice too. If you don't want to do it with pre-hired, we're here to help people. We just believe that the trade-off of, if we can help you make several $100,000 in the next few years with pre-hired, and you just give us a piece of that, we think it's really fair that you don't pay anything until you're hired and making money. And the caliber of mentors and people that you get to work with, like Robert is a member, you get to associate with guys like this, pick their brains, but then you've got mentors who are paid to make you successful, and they only get paid when you get hired and start making money. Like that's the type of mentors that I want on my team. The best at what they do, and to know that they actually care about me, but at the same time, I want to know that they make money when I'm successful, because there's that selfish element of, we've all got to take care of ourselves and our families too. So I like knowing that their success is dependent on my success. That's a mentor I want in my corner. So I'm just going to end on that, because I've never said that to anyone, but I was like, you know what, Robert's, he's preaching, he's laying down some truth. I'm going to follow it up with 2. It's not just about pre-hire. It's about this mindset of going and finding someone who's beyond where you're at and get them in your corner.
100% agree.
All right, man. Thanks for sharing. It's been awesome catching up with you. And also you listening to some of my announcements and ramblings.
No, it was fun, man. It was good to catch up. It really was.
All right, I'm going to hit you up next time I'm in Tampa too.
Sounds good, man. Definitely.